Assalamu alaikum friends. I hope so that you all will be fine. Friends, in this video I am going to discuss about hereditary fructose intolerance. Okay, so let's start our lecture. Friends, when we consume fructose rich diet like fruits, juice, sweet cereals and table sugar, then it leads to the hereditary fructose intolerance. Okay, friends, as such, it is asymptomatic, but when we consume fructose-rich diet, it leads to the fructose intolerance. Okay. Now coming toward the metabolism of fructose. This fructose, it converts into fructose 1-phosphate by action of fructokinase enzyme, and ATP it is utilized, which converts into ADP and inorganic phosphate. This fructose 1-phosphate by action of aldolase enzyme, by action of aldolase enzyme, aldolase B, it converts into glyceraldehyde, and glyceraldehyde which converts into the dihydroxyacetone phosphate. These both are interconvertible. This glyceraldehyde in next reaction converts into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which ultimately leads to glycolysis process. Friends, this fructose by action of fructokinase enzyme, which it converts into fructose 1-phosphate. Okay, with the help of aldolase B enzyme, it converts into glyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. This glyceraldehyde next reaction it converts into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and ultimately it leads to the glycolysis process. Friends, this fructose metabolism it takes place in liver. This fructose metabolism it takes place in liver. Now, there is in fructose intolerance, in hereditary fructose intolerance, there is a deficiency of this enzyme. There is a deficiency of this enzyme, that is aldolase B, and it leads to this accumulation of fructose 1-phosphate in liver, and ultimately leads to hepatomegaly. Hepatomegaly means enlargement of liver. It leads to hepatomegaly. Okay, and fructose 1-phosphate it also inhibits the glycogen phosphorylase enzyme, which is an important enzyme of glycogenolysis, and ultimately there is a hypoglycemia. There is a hypoglycemia, mean decrease in the concentration of glycemia. There is decreased concentration of glucose in blood. Hypoglycemia. This fructose 1-phosphate it also leads to the jaundice. Okay, and it also leads to the convulsion, mean central nervous system manifestation. So these are the clinical features. These are the clinical features of these hereditary fructose intolerance. There is deficiency of aldolase B enzyme, and it leads to the accumulation of fructose 1-phosphate in liver, and it causes hepatomegaly, mean enlargement of liver. This fructose 1-phosphate inhibits glycogen phosphorylase enzyme, which is an important enzyme of glycogenolysis, and it causes the hypoglycemia, mean decrease in concentration of glucose in blood. This fructose 1-phosphate it also causes a jaundice. This fructose 1-phosphate is also responsible for the conversion mean central nervous system manifestation. So friends, these are the clinical features of the hereditary fructose intolerance. Now coming toward the lab diagnosis. Lab diagnosis. There are two tests for this hereditary fructose intolerance that are that are Sullivan-Off test, Sullivan-Off tests, and Furfural test. These both tests, they are used to detect the fructose in urine. Sullivan-Off test and Furfural test, these both tests are done to detect the presence of fructose in urine, and fructose is the isomer of the glucose. Okay, now treatment. Now coming to the treatment, avoid from fructose rich diet. Okay, so friends, this is all about the hereditary fructose intolerance. It is asymptomatic, okay, but when you consume fructose rich diet like fruits, juice, sweet cereals, and table sugar means sucrose, which is made up of glucose and fructose, then it leads to this disorder. Okay, this is the metabolism of fructose, and this metabolism takes place in liver, and with the help of this enzyme it converts fructose 1 phosphate, and basically there's a deficiency of aldolase B enzyme in this disorder. And these are clinical features. This fructose 1 phosphate, it gets at this fructose 1 phosphate, this fructose 1 phosphate, it gets accumulate in liver. It causes hepatomegaly. It inhibits glycogen phosphorylase enzyme and causes hypoglycemia, and also responsible for jaundice and also conversion. Lab diagnosis are Selivanov test and Perfure test, which is used to detect the presence of fructose in urine, and treatment is avoid from fructose rich diet. Okay friends, it is all about the hereditary fructose intolerance. Keep watching and thank you.